Dre-mentional.
Yeah.
Dre-mentional.
I'm going dry. Is it Dre or dry?
Dre.
Dre. Okay. Damn. My fault. Dre, goddamn. Furry, goddamn. Appreciate y'all with the sub. Join the Discord if you guys haven't joined the Discord. I dropped the link. I'll drop the link one more time for you. No cap. Upbeat made you a Minecraft skin. Hey. He said, hey. All right. Let's get into the next video, me. Appreciate y'all. That's crazy, bro. 3 subs out of nowhere, bro. Y'all make my day, bro. I appreciate y'all. Okay. Let's get into the next one. I already watched all y'all's vids. That's crazy. We have so many videos. All right. Ready, chat? Warm me up. Welcome back to Stanley. Today is going to be me, it's going to be chat, and we are reacting to a video from the one, the only, the homie, Maximo Esco or Maximo Esco? I'm going Esco. SpongeBob's saddest episode. Off rip. It has to be when he lost Gary and made Gary come home, right? Or was that Perry come home? No, because I know Perry come home, but did SpongeBob not make a Gary song? Gary come home, right? Yeah.
SpongeBob's saddest episodes of all time. The third one being Welcome to the Chum Bucket. The episode starts at closing time at the Krusty Krab.
Okay.
Mr. Krabs locks up and tells SpongeBob he has plans to smoke Plankton and cards. SpongeBob is confused and wonders why Mr. Krabs would ever want to play his arch enemy in cards. And it's because Plankton is the worst card player in Bikini Bottom. Mr. Krabs has literally been robbing him for 15 years straight and has not lost once. Something bad must have happened though, because the next morning comes and Mr. Krabs shows up to work literally crying. And so SpongeBob gets to work and asks how the card game went. And somehow Mr. Krabs lost. SpongeBob starts to panic and he thinks he lost the Krusty Krab or the secret formula until Mr. Krabs tells him what really happened.
I lost you.
Mr. Krabs.
Oh, wait. This is legitimately one of my favorite episodes of all time. A kitchen's not the same without you. Nah, come on. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
Bet SpongeBob's employee contract in a card game with Plankton.
Right.
So now SpongeBob has to work for Plankton at the Chum Bucket.
Right.
So Plankton shows up and gives SpongeBob his new uniform. And this hat is very ugly. SpongeBob begs Mr. Krabs to let him keep his job, and Plankton literally has to pry off Mr. Krabs' arms with a crowbar, but he gives them back. Then Plankton admits to something crazy. He says he's purposely been throwing the card games to Mr. Krabs, just waiting for him to slip up.
Wow.
He may not have the formula of the Krabby Patties, but he has the next best thing. The guy who makes the Krabby Patties.
Right.
So Plankton locks SpongeBob in a cage and forces him to go to the Chum Bucket to start his new job. SpongeBob is now at the Chum Bucket.
Right.
This place looks like some messed up torture chamber. Like, what is going on with this grill? And of course, Plankton wants SpongeBob to make him a Krabby Patty. And he says if he doesn't, he's gonna take SpongeBob's brain and put it into his robot.
Crazy, by the way. Crazy consequences.
Bob, which sounds insane. Next, SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs have a heartwarming duet, which shows that they
That's it? That's all you're going to highlight? That's all you're going to highlight in the moment? You're not going to talk about how he really slid on that jump with his... They didn't talk about how Krabs really threw his soul in that. You're like, oh, grill's just a grill. Like, yo, come on. You can't glide over that. This is one of them ones, bro.
really miss each other. One thing I really like about this episode is that it really shows how much Mr. Krabs actually cares about SpongeBob. And that's something I never would have thought, to be honest. I mean, he kind of treats him like trash in some episodes. Anyways, Plankton wants to just remove SpongeBob's brain and stick it in the robot, but Karen tells him he should try showing SpongeBob compassion and be understanding to get the formula. Plankton tries to do everything in his power to make SpongeBob more comfortable at the Chum Bucket, like getting him a new grill. And he goes as far as making an entire replica of the Krusty Krab kitchen for SpongeBob. But all it does is make him think of Mr. Krabs, and he starts crying. And so Plankton gets an idea. He asks him if there was anything Mr. Krabs would never let him have, and it's these fire-looking shoes. And so Plankton spends the entire day doing anything SpongeBob wants. And I think SpongeBob starts taking advantage of Plankton because he starts having—
yeah, and then you get the, I don't feel like it. The original nonchalant, man.
Him do the most random junk, but doesn't seem like he's ever gonna make him a Krabby Patty. Plankton asks SpongeBob to make him a Krabby Patty one last time, and this dude goes, nah, I don't feel like it. So Plankton is done with being nice to SpongeBob and decides to go with plan B. removing his brain and putting it inside of a robot. But even Robot Bob tells Plankton he's not making him a Krabby Patty, and this drives him insane. Also, the Krusty Krab is literally about to go out of business until Plankton shows up literally begging Mr. Krabs to take SpongeBob back.
Right.
Plankton says SpongeBob is a literal nightmare. Mr. Krabs acts like he doesn't want SpongeBob back, so Plankton also costs up $50. So now SpongeBob can go back to Krusty Krab where he belongs. Also, the fact that Plankton actually removed SpongeBob's brain and just put a band-aid over it, like this dude probably has brain damage now. But this episode is a classic and enjoyable to watch.
I agree.
But it was sad seeing how SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs react.
I wasn't even sad. I was in my room lit. Off them. Hey, bro, I'm not gonna lie. You know what they say, bro? Heartbreak makes some of the best songs. You know what I'm saying? That's where we get the raw way. Heart been broke so many times. I don't know what to believe. Mama said it's my fault. It's my fault, but my heart on my sleeve. Come on, man. Heartbreak made some of the best songs, chat. No cap.
To losing each other. This also shows that they have
night, but I can't breathe. Yeah. Come on, man. Come on, man. No cap, bruh.
A very codependent relationship. After losing SpongeBob for only a few days, Mr. Krabs almost has to put the Krusty Krab out of business. Although Mr. Krabs is usually set on being greedy and cold, this episode showed a whole new side of him and showed that he deeply cares about SpongeBob, more than any normal boss cares about his employee. SpongeBob also gets really depressed without Mr. Krabs, and it changes his entire personality. I think the saddest part of this episode is that Plankton genuinely tries to be a good boss and gives SpongeBob anything he asks for, but still gets rejected.
Right.
The second saddest episode is Are You Happy Now? The episode starts off at the Krusty Krab, and the first thing we see is Patrick literally eating out of the garbage like a rat. Squidward tries to give SpongeBob an order for a Krabby Patty, but he's too invested in whatever book he's reading, sitting there laughing and smiling his head off. Squidward grabs the book, and it's literally just the Krusty Krab work schedule. The Krusty Krab is where all my happiest memories occur.
So far, I disagree with bro's list. I'm not gonna lie, I disagree with his list. What I would have had, I don't know what I would have had at the 3 spot, but the 2 spot, I would have had the episode where he was trapped inside, where he was talking to Chip, Penny, and the tissue, and it's the gang's all here. You get what I'm saying? And then for the 1, I would have had Gary come home. Those would have been my top 2, and I don't think that this is this episode.
Squidward throws the book on the grill and it burns up in seconds, which is kind of weird because didn't SpongeBob literally just have it on the grill and it was fine? Anyways, it doesn't matter because SpongeBob has a whole cabinet of backup books. This makes SpongeBob ask Squidward what his happiest memory is, but he can't remember a single one. This makes SpongeBob really sad, so he wants to help Squidward. This also makes Squidward admit how miserable he is, and he's actually willing to let SpongeBob help him make him a happy memory. And this is actually kind of crazy for Squidward to agree to. So SpongeBob and Squidward go to a concert, but a fish launches a violin bow right into Squidward's eyes. Ow. Their next stop is an art museum, and at first it's actually going really well because one of Squidward's sculptures is on display. This next part is really sad though, because a really famous fish that Squidward admires literally takes a flamethrower to his art. This guy cannot catch a break. So then SpongeBob tries taking Squidward on a hot air balloon date, but of course Squidward is afraid of heights. Instead of just letting them down gently, SpongeBob just straight up pops the balloon and they crash right into Mount Bikini. And then some hiker gets to the top of the mountain and he's really upset because he trained 20 years for this, just for SpongeBob and Squidward to just crash up there. And then to top it off, SpongeBob takes the hiker's flag and smashes it right into Squidward's foot. And when he takes it out, it causes a whole avalanche. What the heck? After this, Squidward just accepts the fact that he'll never have a happy memory. And if he does, it definitely won't. That's so cap, because you got it, the squid or the frick. I can't remember the name. The fishbowl. That's a happy memory for him, right? When he won against Squilliam in the house thing, that's a happy memory for him. When he finally did get rid of SpongeBob, I don't remember exactly what the context of that episode, even though he ended up wanting SpongeBob back. Oh no, when he got SpongeBob to stop laughing. That's what it was, and SpongeBob started crying instead. But during that time where he was not laughing, that was a good memory. Come on! I know my ball knowledge, chat. That's off dome, too. Involves SpongeBob. Squidward slips into depression, and he literally doesn't leave his house for weeks. SpongeBob obviously gets really worried about Squidward, and he goes to check on him. His house is a wreck, and Squidward looks miserable. Squidward continues to push SpongeBob away until SpongeBob faxes himself to his house. Hi, Squidward. Okay, this part is actually so weird. So first, SpongeBob becomes a piece of paper. Then he gets
the die for pie. Yeah. That was also a good memory for them, where he was taking SpongeBob out Because he thought that they were gonna. Yeah, that's also a good memory. Good ball knowledge.
Then Gary puts them back together. Like, what? So Squidward tries to get a little clam pet, but even that goes wrong. This episode literally gives this man no breaks at all. He gets a knock on the door, and he's expecting it to be SpongeBob, but it's just a mailman with the package. At first, the package seems empty, but turns out...
Oh, and when he finally got the box, and he was like, with the imagination and everything, and then he was driving it, those are all happy... Hey, they lying on Squidward's name right now, bro.
SpongeBob was hiding in the box with another box. He traps Squidward in the box and brings him to the Krusty Krab.
You got
with
us,
one last
Kate.
desperate attempt to give Squidward his happiest memory. SpongeBob decided to throw Squidward a party, and since everyone he invited made an excuse not to go, SpongeBob used paper mache to fill the party with your favorite person, which is just a bunch of him. This sends Squidward from depression into a psychopathic rage. He runs around like a crazy person, demolishing all the paper
Oh, when he moved to the other city surrounded by Squidwards. You're right. Y'all got ball knowledge. Those are all happy memories. You're 100% right, man.
SpongeBob's. I don't think this is what SpongeBob was going for, but since Squidward finally got his happiest memory, he's satisfied.
Wow.
It seems like SpongeBob had his mind focused on other things anyways. He's so handsome. Whoa, SpongeBob. This episode was not only really sad, but straight up just hard to watch. Squidward has always been known to be a sad character who gets tortured for fun, but this episode painted his depression in a whole new light. There are a lot of people with depression, but most of them have at least one happy memory. Squidward literally has none. Nothing at all in his life makes him want to keep living, which is extremely sad to think about. This episode also makes a lot of references to unaliving yourself. First, when SpongeBob goes to check on Squidward, he goes, "At least we know he's alive." Then Squidward also puts his head in the oven, and then he also literally ties up a rope, which is insane for a kid show. It also makes me sad that SpongeBob tried his hardest to be a good friend of Squidward, but all he ever does is make him more miserable and in pain. But the next episode is even sadder. So finally, the saddest episode of SpongeBob is...
Wait. Yeah, have you seen this? Okay, so, here's what I'll do. I'll move that to the first. So I don't disagree with his list as much as I thought, because he's 2 for 3 for me. So the one with Squidward, I will move that to the third place. Then the one with the gang's all here, I'll move that one to second place. And then Gary, have you seen this snail? I'll move that to first place. That's my list.
This snail. The episode starts off with SpongeBob carrying this massive bag of snail food, and this thing looks heavy. But SpongeBob is also really weak.
I'll let him know.
So who knows? Patrick tries talking to SpongeBob, but because of the heavy snail food, he rushes home. This is when SpongeBob notices a note on his door. Apparently, he's expecting a delivery, and he missed it. It doesn't really matter though, because the delivery shows up in the next minute. There is a big problem though. SpongeBob is so excited about this package, he completely forgets about Gary's food. SpongeBob opens up his package, which is just like a little paddle with a ball attached. He also finds a note, which tells him about the Dirty Bubble Challenge. And this challenge is insane.
Yeah.
SpongeBob has to hit the ball 29 trillion times in a row. Yeah, that's pretty impossible. I don't even know why he would attempt this. Gary tries to get his attention because it's his feeding time, but bad pet owner SpongeBob completely ignores and neglects Gary. Once he realizes that he's not gonna get fed, he packs a bag and decides to move out. Gary goes out on his own and gets on his bus.
Oh, and then he started going through all those trials and tribulations. Bro, my heart started hurting just now for Gary, bro. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I forgot.
I hope he finds some food. I don't know how he's gonna find some food, but anyways, Patrick goes to visit SpongeBob, but something is really wrong. SpongeBob's entire house is a wreck, and he finds SpongeBob in a corner looking like he's rotting. How long did he spend trying to do this challenge? Patrick asks SpongeBob what happened. He tells him, "I took the Dirty Bubble Challenge," which clearly upsets Patrick for some reason. Apparently, Patrick beat the Dirty Bubble Challenge, and he just lost the trophy. I mean, I know Patrick's really dumb, so is he even able to lie about something like that? This is when SpongeBob finally remembers to feed Gary, except he can't find him anywhere. SpongeBob finally asks how long he's been doing this challenge, and somehow Patrick's able to tell him how long he was doing it for by eating his expired milk, which is pretty disgusting. SpongeBob was doing this challenge for 10 days straight. How did he go 10 days without remembering Gary? The sad part too is he could have just fed.
How did he go 10 days without having to go to work? What was Mr. Krabs doing? He lost Gary. Why didn't he lose his job? I'm asking the important questions. How did he do that for 10 days? He took PTO. Mr. Krabs doesn't do. Mr. Krabs does not do PTO. Mr. Krabs does not do PTO at all, bruh. What's up, CJ? Welcome to the chat, man.
Gary, and then try doing the challenge. We cut back to Gary, who is still really hungry and wandering out in the wild. SpongeBob tries to shake Gary's treats to lure him out, but of course Patrick eats them, so they have to shake Patrick's fat belly instead. SpongeBob and Patrick even break into Squidward's house, and we get this really long, awkward pause. They find no trace of Gary until SpongeBob opens up his mailbox and finds a
definitely touched Squidward's meat right there. I don't know if y'all saw that. 1000%.
Long, awkward pause. They find no trace of Gary until SpongeBob opens up his mailbox and finds a heartbreaking note. First of all, I have
not the only mailbox he opened up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I have no idea how he read this, but Gary wrote that he's looking for a new owner who actually remembers to feed him, which is
my fault.
Very sad. So Gary is out wandering through the city looking for food, but he doesn't have much luck until he finds some nachos. Gary runs away because there are other wild snails, but turns out they were going to share with him. He runs into a scary looking dark figure, but turns out it's just some really old lady.
Right.
There you are, Mrs. Toofsy.
This lady definitely has some problems, but at least she spoils Gary with food and a heated blanket. Grandma turns on some music and oh my, bro, look at Grandma. For an old lady, she can get.
Hold on. I know y'all seen what I seen, chat. I just gotta respect game where games need to be respected, chat.
Down. A heated blanket. Grandma turns on some music and oh my, bro, look at Grandma. For tight shit. old lady, she can get down. Anyway, SpongeBob is searching through the entire city, and it's really sad seeing how heartbroken he is over Gary. We see that Gary also misses SpongeBob, but he's a little traumatized from being yelled at by him. Also, losing Gary really took a toll on SpongeBob. He spends all night looking for him and comes into work the next morning looking disgusting. He tries to tell Mr. Krabs that he's not okay, but Mr. Krabs just sends him to the grill anyways. This is an example of Mr. Krabs looking like a bad boss, but earlier he was a good boss, so maybe he's like bipolar. Anyway, SpongeBob sits there crying on all of the Krabby Patties, and people obviously start complaining. Also, how are these tears sitting so perfectly on the Krabby Patty? It makes no sense. Mr. Krabs tries to convince SpongeBob to focus on work, but instead, he accidentally convinces him to look harder for Gary. SpongeBob goes back to Patrick and tells him that they should keep looking for Gary. We go back to Grandma and Mrs. Toofsy, and although Granny is nice, her love seems to be a little too much. She is only giving Gary fish food instead of snail food. SpongeBob goes around the city putting up flyers everywhere. And luckily, SpongeBob and Gary end up at the exact same store. Patrick sees that they're having a sale on scented pie cones and literally talks.
Valid reason to go inside. If you know, you know. When Christmas time come around, get some scented pine cones for the crib. I know y'all don't be listening to my advice, bro. Listen to this one. Christmas time comes around, get some scented pine cones for the crib, bro. Go get the pine cones, put it up top. The fireplace, you feel what I'm saying? Some little fake cotton snow, bro. You gonna feel the vibes, bro. Santa really finna slide in that mug. I ain't gonna lie, bro.
The lady that has Gary, but Patrick doesn't even tell SpongeBob. He even goes, "Hi, Gary." Anyways, next, one of the most heartbreaking yet iconic songs in SpongeBob history plays.
Gary, now I know I was wrong. I messed up and now you're gone.
SpongeBob goes into a deep depression and is desperate to get his pet back. He puts up flyers everywhere.
I'm telling you, bro, that heartbreak music, bro. That heartbreak music, you can't miss it with, bro. You can't miss.
You even see his cute photo album. I started with Gary's memories. Gary is back at Grandma's house, and she gives him some paper so he can use the bathroom. And this is when Gary sees
never needed no nigga to give me paper. Never needed no nigga me paper, chat. I've been running up a band. You know what I'm saying? No
That's
cap,
when I've been leaving around. Gary tries to leave and head for the door and accidentally makes a crazy discovery. This lady has been killing all of her pet snails by feeding them too much. Gary tries running away from Grandma, but she chases him with cookies and deviled eggs. It's kind of funny that Gary and the Grandma move at the same pace too. Gary comes across another snail and uses him as bait to get away. Does anyone else think it's kind of weird that literally every other snail but Gary can talk? Anyways, we go back to SpongeBob. And when Patrick hears Gary's name, he looks like he's about to tell SpongeBob he saw him. But instead, he literally talks about some wood he saw. Great. Gary loved balsa wood. SpongeBob goes outside and pleads to the billboard of Gary how much he messed up. And at this exact moment, Gary comes up to SpongeBob and purrs on him. And he goes, "Gary, your purr's making it really hard to forget about you." This is when SpongeBob and Gary finally have their touching reunion. And everything ends on a good note. Wow. This episode was sad. Seeing SpongeBob, the happiest character ever, go into a deep depression.
And you see the baby pictures and the song come on and the reunite. This is a good episode, man.
And grieve his beloved pet snail was heartbreaking.
I
hate to say it, but I think he needed to lose Gary so he could form a deeper appreciation for his pet and take better care of him. I don't know. I'm just...
Sometimes, chat, you gotta lose the kitty to really appreciate it the second time it come back. I'm talking like, you gotta, if you guys like the video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, comment twice. It helps me in the algorithm. Check out me and Yoda's collab channel. It's called SXY. Type in all caps and you'll see it. And I'll catch y'all in the next video. Goodbye. Peace.